over the years, it started to hurt a little bit, then it went away. Anyway, it started to drain while I was by the swimming pool. And so I said, I better go have it checked. And when I went in, the doctor says, I can take that out.
It's not uncommon for these cysts to come back after
that.
surgery. It happens even with us. We're going to cut around it, make sure we get the whole sac so we have a lower risk of it coming back.
Okay.
They already give you a scar here.
Well, and you know what?
But I might turn it this way here. Okay. You did fine.
Yes, I did.
All right, so let's take care of this one.
Okay.
How you say you had it taken care of 7 years ago or so?
Well, yeah, or at least that.
And at that point, it was painful, or?
Well, not really.
Did it ever get painful at some point?
Yeah, well, I think it got a little bit infected because it started to, it must have come to a head because I told you, I was at the pool and I scratched it or something and it started to leak. So Linda grabbed a towel and I guess a lot of stuff came out of it, so, and it drained it down quite a bit.
Right.
So I'm saying to myself, hey, that's good, maybe it's gone. But then I said, you know what, I better go check it out the next day. And that's when I went to I didn't have a doctor at the time because I just got here. And she was good, you know, I thought she was pretty good. And she says, I could take care of that.
It healed well, but it, you know, sometimes these things do come back, so.
Yeah.
All right, anything sharp here?
No.
Anything sharp on this side?
No. And I think when she opened it, it was kind of funny. It popped a little bit again.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
It might pop today. We'll see.
I'm sure it will. I don't. Are they in a sack? Like?
Yep. It's a little, like a balloon almost.
Like
underneath,
a balloon, right?
Underneath your skin.
So that's what you have to remove, right?
Right.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, I had one on the back of my earlobe years ago when I was younger.
Yeah.
And it broke, and all this white stuff came out like
a white cheesy
cottage cheese. Cottage cheese, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all that's cells and keratin.
Okay. So that's what builds up?
Yep.
Yeah.
The main problem is when they break underneath your skin and they get inflamed or infected, they can be quite painful and swollen.
Well, I think, and you're right, because the other one I had for a long time, and I used to play golf quite a bit, and I used to, years ago, when we played, a lot of times we wanted to walk instead of take the golf cart, and I used to carry my clubs over that shoulder, and of course that's where the strap was.
Right.
And when I was done at the end of the round, it irritated it. So I tried to stay away from it anyway. I was telling Maddie, like I told you, don't ask me why, I started to watch these surgeons operate on different skin things, not just and there's a lot of, one of them is from Sweden, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 doctors that are very good. And, oh my God, the stuff they do is amazing. It just amazes me that people would let something, especially the ones, remember we were talking about those bot worms?
Right.
To let something like that go.
Well, you don't let it go. They're pretty quick. They don't stay there for very long. They get into your skin and then you get a little bump.
Right. But I would think you'd know you got them, you know?
No, you just kind of feel like a bug bite or...
Okay. I just think it's interesting.
Yeah. So there's some scar tissue here. Is it all just scar tissue? Let's see. No pain? Get this right there. Let's use, oh, we don't have a hemostat. Okay.
There is one.
You do have one?
Let's put it under there.
So I see that cyst here, and there's some scar tissue because of that previous surgery. I'm just trying to loosen it up a little bit. So where did you guys move from again?
Well, we didn't move, Dr. Galliani. I told
No,
you.
but when you first came here, where did you come from?
Okay, we came from north of Boston. It's a city called Beverly, Mass. It's on the North Shore, about 25 miles northeast of Boston.
Yeah,
And it's on an area in Boston called the North Shore.
gotcha.
No,
That's where your soft accent comes from.
yes. And yeah, the car.
The
right,
car.
The car. We don't pronounce our R's.
And I can pack it anywhere.
How about Dorchester?
Packed it. Foxborough. Packed it.
The Garden?
Packed it. Saugus? Packed it.
Swampscott?
Revere?
The Harbor?
Are you kidding me? I packed it and then unpacked it. You unpacked it? Kid.
Anyway, but for some reason, don't ask me. Anyway, you probably have heard a couple of cities around where Beverly is. You probably heard of Salem, the Witch City.
Right. Right.
In Gloucester, which is a big fishing area. Rockport, Lynn, Swampscott, Marblehead. That's all in my area within 5 miles.
Nice. You guys go back a lot or no?
Oh yeah, I taught school. I thought I told you in Marblehead for 34 years. So Marblehead is right south of me, heading towards Boston.
What did you teach again?
Marblehead, Mass.
But-
At high school,
But what subject?
business and social studies.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Of course, years ago when I first started, business involved teaching typing, for example, on the manual typewriter.
Oh.
And then over the years, it went from a manual to an electric, and then of course from
To the
electric to a laptop.
Yeah.
And, okay, so I had to kind of learn as years went on about how to operate them. And so I retired. I was lucky. I started right after I had been going to school my whole life. There wasn't a year I didn't have off without going to school.
See, you see how it's, sorry, I'm just going to show, you see how it's layer upon layer upon layer, and that's the keratin in that cell. It's almost like when you have a sunburn, you peel a layer of skin. That's what it is. This is just layers and layers of skin, basically. So this is the cyst that came out here.
Oh wow! Yeah, see, it is that white stuff.
That's the cap.
Wow!
You know, that stuff. Let's put that.
Wow! Awesome.
Let's just make sure we got it all out.
Yeah. So anyway, so I was able to retire when I just turned 55. Believe it or not, I was lucky. I
Nice.
stayed in the same system the whole time, which I was lucky. And from there, I've been doing all sorts of stuff.
Enjoying Florida.
Well, to be honest with you, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's we had time sharing in Cancun, Mexico,
Oh,
and I've
nice.
been to Cancun over 25 times. And I'm really a lover of Mexico. I like Cancun and I like Mexico. But as time has gone on, as you know, it can be dangerous.
Yeah. My wife and I had our honeymoon in Cancun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
we
think
had
I think you told me that.
Yeah, it was.
Do you remember where you had it?
Like LeBlanc or something Blanc. It was one of those all-inclusive resorts.
Yeah. There were a couple that were Blanc that I can remember. I was in a spot called the Cancun Clipper Club,
Okay.
and that was right in the heart of the hotel zone. And there's a big lagoon. It's shaped like an elbow, and across the street was convention center. So if you remember the convention center, and there were Festa Americana, was a big pink hotel overlooking the ocean. We were right across the street on the lagoon. Anyway,
how long you had that timeshare for?
we had it for 30 years.
Oh my.
So in addition to trading off for several years, we went when I was teaching, he could only go for a week because that's all I had.
That's all the time you had.
So, but when I retired, we started to go for 2 weeks, and then we had a 3-bedroom, so you could split the 3-bedroom instead of 1 week. You could split it into 3 weeks. So we stayed in a 1-bedroom for 3, and then we doubled up and stayed for 6. But then the timeshare ran out, and actually the building didn't get torn down, but they dissolved it, the timeshare part of it, and some other corporation bought it and made it into like a hostile, one of those type of places.
Gotcha.
So anyway, the people
You doing okay?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
the people that we had met all ended up having to go to different places. But anyway, a lot of them still go.
You're not having any pain, right?
No.
Well, it seems like you made good use of your timeshare. And you had a great time.
We really did. And in the meantime, Linda has a son, and he moved from, he was originally in Florida. He's from Massachusetts, but he ended up living in Fort Myers. And we went down to visit him and stayed at Fort Myers Beach 4 or 5 times, stayed at Marco Island 4 or 5 times, stayed in Naples 4 or 5 times, a whole bunch of different places. I liked it, it was fun.
Nice.
And then he moved to Tennessee, and he was a truck driver. And
wow.
yeah, they drove all over the place. So he and his wife found a beautiful spot in Tennessee, and it was a development that was just starting out in the farm area, not, outside of Murfreesboro.
Hold it right there.
About 35 miles southwest of Nashville, like middle Tennessee. And we had a house built there, beautiful
Nice.
farmhouse, all brick, it was gorgeous. And we stayed there for pretty close to 8 years, but only visiting. I mean,
Right.
we never spent a whole year there. And realizing again that it wasn't really warm, it was cold in the summer.
Right.
So my brother, who lives down here, had his own condo in South Bay, which is where we live now. And make a long story short, we visited a couple times. And then we found out there was a rental available, so we said, let's go down and rent for a couple of weeks. And he was way up high, and it was beautiful. So we said, you know what, let's look around. And we found a unit, which is the one we bought. And I sold Tennessee and bought this other one. And, that's where we are right now.
But what would be the perfect? You say you like Florida, but it's okay. What would be the perfect place for you?
Well, I don't really know yet. I like Florida a lot because of the weather. That's about it. I don't, Doctor, I really don't like condo living.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know anything. I mean, it's fine. We're adults, but there are not many kids in our particular units. It's not a big high rise. It's about 8 stories. It's well kept. It's a nice unit. It's really beautiful, overlooking Tampa Bay, which is nice. But everybody knows everybody's business, and we're not that type of people. We just kind of, I don't know.
So it's not so much Florida, but maybe it's more where you're living.
Well, that's it. So we're about to sell. Actually, we've had enough. And I did become a resident, Doctor, because of the homestead.
Yeah.
And if you homestead, you probably know that you save yourself a ton of money on taxes. And but to make a long story short, I'm only here 5 months at the most, a year, and that's half a year, pretty close. And we're spending every year almost $20,000 to live here half a year.
It's a lot.
Yeah, really. You know, the maintenance fee is $865, I think, and you know that's over $10,000 a year just for maintenance fee. Never mind taxes, never mind. So right now our plan is we're planning to stay this year. I think we're going to put it on the market in January or February, and if things go the way we're hoping, next year will be our last year, and you know what.
What do you think you'll go?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I looked around. There's some beautiful, beautiful places to rent, and I'll have enough money, you know, for several years to be able to rent a place on the water, for example, a beach house or something like that, for 4 weeks or for 6 weeks. So I'm not worried about it. We were supposed to go to Cancun for 2 weeks this year, and we decided against it. We had it all set up, and then said, you know what, let's wait until next year. So, but I could always go down there for 8 weeks if I wanted to.
Nice. So you got options.
Well, we have to be out of this unit, believe it or not. They gave everybody a notice in our building that the state has required inspection on the electric, and I guess it was so outdated that the whole electric panel in the whole building has to be redone.
Oh, wow.
And that requires shutting the building down completely for 5 days.
Wow.
So you had to make do with whatever, no electricity, no air conditioning, no refrigerator, blah, blah, blah. So no hot water. So I got on the internet, and I decided I think I'll just put in rental around St. Petersburg for 5 days. And up came, and I'd never been on this site called Airbnb.
Right.
And I'd never been on it before. And I put places by the beach, and boy, did I find a beauty. And it's on the Indian Rocks Beach, which is just north of Reddington Beach. And
Nice.
I'm not a Floridian, so I know where it is. It's not far from Madeira Beach. It's maybe 3 miles beyond that.
I'm putting the final touches here and we're all done.
Okay.
You feeling good still?
Oh, yeah.
No pain?
No, nothing.
Well, it seems like you got it planned out. So
Good.
that'll be good.
And it didn't squirt.
No, I mean, it was just too solid for it to pop.
Yeah.
It was just more because of the previous surgery. There was a lot of scar tissue. So it kind of tore, and we were just kind of taking piece by piece.
Okay.
Make sure that we got it all out. There was a couple of hairs that were trying to get stuck on your stitches, so we got them out.
Mm-hmm. So that's the history. But you know, we've been lucky. If things, I've already had a real estate person come, and we're getting pretty much set up for the whole thing to transport my car back. I don't feel like driving it. It's a 25-hour drive back to Massachusetts, 24.
How did they take it back?
Well, you
shuttle
rent you rent a trailer truck, the truck, you know, like when they deliver new cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I found one, $500, which is pretty damn good.
Yeah, not bad.
I don't think. And you can actually store stuff in your van. I've got a nice van, a Town and Country, and you could store all your clothes in it.
It'll meet you up there.
Yeah. And then,
Yeah, I mean, how much do you spend on gas alone?
Well,
from here
yeah,
to
not
there?
just that, the overnights and everything. I mean, it's certainly equal to $500. Plus the wear and tear in the car, plus the driving. I mean, God, you white knuckle driving on the interstate, and oh God, I drove back and forth to Tennessee at least 25 times.
Wow,
Well, it was a pain in the neck. Now, JetBlue here, 3 hours flat from here to Boston.
Wow,
That's it.
that's pretty convenient.
And if you from here to Boston with the tailwind, It's about 2:45, 2 hours 45 minutes.
Last stitch here. So as you're bandaging him up, I'll take care of his finger. So 10-day suture removal. So we did the 4-0 Maxon and the 5-0 Proline horizontal mattresses here. That should kind of just disappear, that scar in there.